Shalom everyone, this is Chris Shoemaker, also known as Yehuda Ben Shomer, and welcome to the Daily Drosh. Today's Daily Drosh is taken from Daniel chapter 14. Oh, wait a second. There's no Daniel chapter 14. Correct. There's no Daniel chapter 14 in canonical scripture, but there is some apocryphal literature that has been attached to the end of the book of Daniel, and this is called Bel and the Dragon. And the reason that I want to talk about this in the Daily Drosh is because it connects to the other devotionals I've done on Daniel and how Daniel's strength in God and his witness and his resoluteness to worship only the God of Israel, and how through that he was able to witness to several pagan monarchs, and several of these pagan monarchs actually gave up their pagan faith in order to follow the one true God, the God of Israel. And in this story of Bel and the Dragon, otherwise known as Daniel chapter 14, the exact same thing happened. This is talking about Cyrus of Persia and how he worshiped the god Bel, B-E-L. Others have called him Marduk or associate him with Marduk of Babylon. But anyway, Daniel and King Cyrus were very close, were very fond of each other. And one day Cyrus asked Daniel, "Why don't you worship Bel?" And he says, "I don't worship idols made of stone and clay and precious metals. You know, they're dead. They're not real. I worship only the God of Israel, who made heaven and earth." And King Cyrus says, "Well, I go to the temple every day and offer these food offerings and drink offerings to my God, and in the morning they're gone. So you see how much he eats and drinks. You know, you can't tell me that this isn't a real deity." And he says, "King, if you give me a chance, let me prove to you that he's not." So what had happened is they agreed to bring the offerings, seal the temple with the king's seal, so that, you know, if it was broken, they know that there was some foul play going on or whatever. So before they closed the door to the temple, Daniel had called for his servants to cover the floor with ash. And then they closed the doors and sealed it. So the next morning, they see that the seal was untouched. King Cyrus and Daniel open the doors, and Daniel says, "Oh, Baal, you know, there's no deceit in you. You know, look, all your food is gone. You're real." And Daniel says, Wait, King, don't step in yet. Look at the floor." And as he looked at the floor, he seen footprints of men, women, and children. So what had happened is the altar of Baal had a false trap door, and that's where the priests of Baal and his family came in and out secretly through the temple. So after the doors were shut, they would come in and come up under the altar of Baal and eat all the food, take all the food away, and then they would leave. So it would appear to those who didn't know any better that this statue, this idol, Baal, ate all the food. So as a result, the king was impressed. He allowed Daniel to tear the temple of Bel down. And the second account, there was this dragon, and it was real. It was a real dragon. So it was probably a remnant from the dinosaurs. We don't know exactly what it was. Obviously it was some sort of reptile, and so they worshipped this unique reptile, this giant creature. This most likely was a remnant of the dinosaurs, worshipped it as a god. And King Cyrus says, "You can't deny that this isn't living, that this isn't real, and it should be worshipped as a god." And Daniel says, "Well, I can slay this dragon without using sword or anything like that. May I have the permission to do so?" "Yeah, sure." So Daniel made some sort of concoction of pitch and fat and hair and boiled it together, rolled it into a ball, and he fed it to this dragon, and it caused the dragon to explode. It caused the dragon to swell, and it burst open, and all its guts were laying everywhere. And Daniel said, "See, it's mortal. It's not a god." And so King Cyrus was so impressed by this that his servants and everybody says, and it says in Daniel 14:28, the king has turned Jew. The king has turned Jew. So this is talking about King Cyrus converting to the worship of the God of Israel, the one true God, and forsaking all other pagan gods. And they said, he has allowed Bel to be overthrown and the dragon to be killed and his priests to be put to death. So it's pretty amazing that God took Daniel, just a simple Hebrew, taken off into Babylonian captivity, Persian captivity, and was able to use him because of his resolute faith not to abandon the Torah, not to abandon the law of God, not to abandon his faith or religion of his people, and not to abandon the worship of the one true God of Israel. And as a result of not compromising his faith, his convictions, his religion, his standards, he was boldly able to stand up against the paganism of several pagan monarchs, and as a result be able to witness to them, and God used these situations to show his might and power. And as a result, these pagan kings were converted. I just think that's totally amazing, and it gives us a great example on how to live in the modern day when, in the Western world, we are living in a post-Judeo-Christian nation. It is no longer a Christian nation, Christian nations. They are pagan and has forsaken God. Anyways, thanks so much for listening. Go out there and have a great day. Shalom and Shavua Tov. Come check out The Weekly Way, your weekly devotional commentary on the Torah, Haftorah, and Brit Chadasha portions.